Okay, here ADG here back for another video. This might be my last video for the year, possibly. If things get better, I'll try to make more content and do content that I've promised to do in the past, but I haven't gotten to yet. But I'll do my best. Anyway, today I decided to do a review on Deck the Halls. Yes, I know it was a crappy Christmas movie, but I decided, why not? So, anyway, it's a 2006 Christmas comedy film starring Matthew Broderick, Danny DeVito, Kristen Davis, Kristen Chenoweth, and that's about it. I don't remember much of the other main cast members. It's about feuding neighbors. There's one neighbor. There's one neighbor. There's a dentist uptight and is like very hyper organized with how to do Christmas and stuff. Then a neighbor comes in and he wants to be seen from space, so he makes tries to, and his actions annoy Broderick and they get into an argument. And it's considered one of the worst comedies ever made, and it has a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to see what it's got on IMDb. Deck. Cell service in this house. 5.0 on IMDb. And I'm sure it's a bomb. Anyway, let me get into the review. So with the movie, go on this town. Broderick's playing a dentist who's hyper organized with his family and like he has everything planned out for each day, and he's super intense with that. He's wife's by Kristen Davis, who I haven't seen much with her. I only saw like one other movie with her. I think it was Journey to Mysterious Island. I think that was it. And he has two kids. One's the stereotypical sulky, brooding, angsty teenage daughter. The other one is a kid who, like me, is struggling to do everything he wants to do in his life. Although he says that he thinks he doesn't accomplish anything by being Halo in legendary mode. I'm like, I can't even be Halo in legendary mode! And this kid's fussing about, I could be later in legendary mode. I'm like, dude, I'm 20 years old and I never got to beat that game in legendary mode. Any of the games, because they were so hard. So, that's a lot of crap. So yeah, then we get some characters with his wife that she's a cookbook editor and that she wants to make her own cookbook. So that's her arc, if you call it that. And then she talked to Broderick about how he used to do these simple things with his dad when they're in bed, like bed set up for the guy not being able to appreciate the little things type arc. Yeah, we haven't seen that one stuff like Jingle the Way. So then late at night, some new neighbors move in across the street in an empty house. And the next morning, they meet the new neighbors. Dan DeVito, Brother's character is called Steve Finch, I believe, and I believe the DeVito's character is called Buddy Hall, and yes, it's kind of pun with the title. So he comes to the house next day to meet the neighbors, and right out of this family comedy film, we get some adult jokes. Like his wife, Joker, talks about putting up a dancer pole in their room, and they start talking about, because Broderick's robe is open, talk about putting the little guy away. I'm not even gonna get into that, what that means. And right off the bat, we get that DeVito's character is kind of unlikable because he steals Broderick's coffee and newspaper for no reason whatsoever. And Kristen Davis' character there becomes friendly with Kristen Chenoweth in a straight way. And he comes down with some stuff at her house for some reason. Like, you just met this woman, you already went to her house, and then we get some weird gags. Like, we see that her shirt's down like this, and you can see her boobs, and they use boobs because they're like massive. Like, Okay, and then they see a nude painting in the middle of the room. If you see a nude painting in the room, why would you leave a nude painting in the middle of the room? Like, don't you think you must well be perturbed at that? Why don't you just hide it in your high place where no one will see it? And let's see what else. Oh yeah, then she has to help Chris put this thing up on a shelf, so she has to push her butt up with it. And the final joke. David has these two twin daughters who are like really tall. Because the joke is that due to DeVito's short height, he can possibly have given birth to those. That's basically the joke. I guess that's funny, and I'm not entirely sure. But so it's not really much to that. We get one little plot point set up. It has a priceless vase, a family heirloom, that her grandmother or great grandmother gave to her. And then after that, we get together with DeVito's character. Apparently, his father's been moving place to place because he's unable to keep a job, and they're like massive credit card debt. I mean, DeVito gets a job in the movie. He works at a car dealership as a salesman, which is kind of interesting because my dad works as an engineer at Ford, and they get into and then he successfully sells a car, although it's actually a prank by his coworkers who tricked him into selling the car to the boss who actually bought the car and paid sticker price for it. I have no idea this happens. And then at night, his daughter showed them some Google Maps thing, and this is where the conflict movie comes. The video's upset his house isn't on the stupid map, so he wants to put like 1 billion Christmas lights on the house until it can be seen from space. That's the plot. Why would you give a crap? No one's gonna be looking at your house from space. Why would you care about space? I mean, I don't think it's a live satellite feed. I'm pretty sure that they just haven't updated the image a bit. So call up the company instead of sorry about that. So he starts putting up a bunch of lights in the middle of the freaking night, and then Broderick goes out to investigate. But he gets this weird conversation where the video doesn't seem to act like he's doing anything where I'm like, you're disturbing the neighbors. And Broderick says to him, do you have any idea what time it is? And the video apparently doesn't know sarcasm or metaphors. Well, he does ask if everything it says to start over. Different means with their later says, buddy hug, you are. I'm like, so he's an idiot? Is that the joke here? Like, he's supposed to be kind of smart later on, but he's getting inconsistent. But I'm kind of blaming Broderick because, like, if you put up lights in the middle of the freaking night and they can hear you from all the way in your house, maybe you should wait until morning when he's at work or something. And these were things get into a big production. So, that's one other thing. Despite DeVito being in credit card debt, he starts buying every single stinking light at the hardware store. I'm like, dude, you're in debt and you think it's smart to be buying 1 billion Christmas lights to put in your house just so a stupid satellite can pick it up? Just talk to the company, ask them to either feed or something, or get a better satellite. If you give it serious, it's not you. It's not you. It's the company problem. And why do you care? What? What are you gonna give it? You're not a celebrity. No one. Why do you care if people look at your house? And he also buys a freaking sleigh with horses made look like reindeer. Just had to be back at a hardware store. Like, do hardware stores sell those at Christmas? Like, do Home Depot or Lowe's sell like horse-pulled sleighs with reindeer antlers on them? Because I don't know. But of course, we have to make it so it drops Matthew Broderick's life because they need Broderick to be the fuse. So his wife and kids are more interested in going to see the horse in the sleigh instead of doing this family photo op. And then when they got outside, they try to get Broderick to just like Santa take a picture in the sleigh, but which honestly isn't. Which he still throws a fit over, even though I'm like, you're still getting Christmas picture. Why do you think I fit over this? Apparently, the horses are wild, so he tries to get his son off the sleigh, but the horses then get freaked and they start yanking him around town. Crappy blue screen until he's all the way to a friggin' snowbank, which he immediately falls, through like 5 seconds, and I'm like, it would take less than that if a giant sleigh fell on a freaking ice patch in the middle of the road, in the middle of the lake for to fall through. And then we get this really disturbing scene next where he wakes up butt naked in a sleeping bag with Danny DeVito and his wife's car on the way to the hospital. That just happened. Why didn't the sleeping bag butt naked with him? To warm him up. I don't even want to know which part he takes up. And Roderick obviously reacts how most of us would react if he woke up and saw a stranger nude in a sleeping bag with us. We would probably also scream too, like, and the punchline is this, that when they do get the picture, but Broderick is now as blue as Paul Giamatti in Big Fat Liar. You're bluish white. And he has tubes up his nostrils. And that's the punchline. Yeah, and DeVito also believes, and Broderick believes Danny DeVito to be stealing his electricity, which he is, but he doesn't try to prove for some reason, he just assumes. So I guess they're both idiots. So then they go to chop down trees, and they decide to compete, and apparently Brothers rents an entire lot of trees out for himself, and of course he shows it off like an egotist. But that's why they do it. David knocks down a Camp Petroid, which I'm like, why is there a Camp Petroid next to Christmas trees? Why have that? And Brother doesn't even notice. I mean, his wife smells it, but Brother thinks that she's just smelling his fart, and he ends up making a spark that burns the entire lot of trees down. Guess what the punchline is? Just guess. They put to buy a tiny tree, like in Charlie Brown Christmas. Except here's not portrayed as a sweet humor, as portrayed just as a joke. And because somehow buying a bunch of lights for your house is suddenly popular, the video becomes the talk of the town. Broderick's jealous of it. Because apparently he's like the Christmas guy in town. And I'm like, why doesn't he be a Christmas guy? Why doesn't he need to be the top Christmas guy? Like, this should be a competition. Like, where I live, there's no one in town we call a Christmas guy. Do I? Because this isn't a freaking popularity contest. It's test. And this is what they're treating like. He tries to convince DeVito to maybe be a Halloween guy or something. Even though we already have a Halloween guy, he's called Michael Myers. So I think that position's already been filled. And during the conversation, they also get a cameo by Jorge Arias, if that's how you pronounce it, from Lost. I only know that because my dad used to watch Lost. And, of course, then of the night, the entire town's lined up at Broderick's place to see DeVito's place to see his lights, which interrupts Broderick's caroling session. And I'm like, were those lights that bright? How is it not bothering anyone? I don't, like, I feel that if you wave like a shiny light in their face, like, and when DeVito says he's not going to stop yet, Broderick says Jesus at the top of his lungs, and the whole crowd turns to him, and he just tries to cover his butt by saying, Christ the Lord has come this Christmas morning. And he finally decides to take legal action by talking to the sheriff. But, of course, we need to have another gag with it. Oh, by the way, DeVito also bought an entire nativity scene in front of the house. Statues, animals, like, even camels. Like, did he get this import from Egypt or something? Where did he get the camels from? Like, I don't think there's many camels in the U.S. because I've been to plenty of zoos, and I've never seen a camel there one time. And I'm pretty sure to export that from freaking Egypt or Australia would cost a lot of money that he doesn't have. Like, dude, you're gonna live in cardboard boxes after that if you keep spending all this money on these stupid lights. And okay, here's the get. Look, his car is stuck between these two doors, and this drunk guy tries to help him get it out. But when he pulls the car out, it yanks the doors off. Cause science or cheap car manufacturer, like what did he buy the car from DeVito's character Matilda? You know what? You know the car that's they BS on the speed dial on the speed miles dial. You know. So then he gets to the sheriff's office. And I've seen the actor of the sheriff in like only two other things. He was the vice principal in Scooby-Doo Mystery Begins, and he was also in an episode of Arrow season 5 where he arrested John Diggle. I don't remember the name in either of them. So, and Red Bell took a report, but then he finds out that the sheriff's a cross-dresser because he's wearing like a bra-like thing under his shirt where he's scratching. Either he claims a brace, I don't know if there's a difference. And then he bends over and Broderick sees his underwear. He's like, okay, that's not for me. Okay, I get it. Okay, I understand that kind of disturbs you, but really, you're really going to bail on getting this guy arrested just because you're disturbed? So, is this how you're going to react if someone, I don't know, robs you, shoots your wife, commits fraud on you, hijacks your credit card? So, he decides to do it himself. He decides, and with Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself. So, him and his son, later that night, dressed up in spy gear, he sneaks over to David's property, and when they come out, he jumps in the nativity scene in a pit of poop. Which I'm like, are you telling me David doesn't clean up any of that? Like, he left the animals out in the freezing cold. Really, he left cold, and when they came out, spits on Broderick's face. Like, I need to see that. So he goes around the roof, and he tosses the snowball into the generator thing, I think you call it, and it kills the lights. And his wife comes at what he's doing, and he tries to BS his way out of it. But guess what? It was all for nothing because the lights turn back on because he's a backup generator. Why was this scene in the movie? So DeVito can want to go at Broderick now. Yep, because DeVito goes out and finds someone and immediately realizes Broderick did. I'm like, his wife's cool that he trespassed someone's property and killed their power. Okay, so then the next morning he wakes up and finds a Christmas tree in his room and a brand new car. And he doesn't even ask DeVito where he got it, for he just accepts like an idiot. If one of the trees, it turns out, is the town's Christmas tree that somehow DeVito chopped down the middle of the night without anyone noticing, and somehow broke into his house and got in the freaking living room. Don't ask me how he did it. And the car isn't completely paid for, and Broderick's either pay for the car, or he's going to be in the slammer. So yeah, he's like, you kill my lights, I frame you for theft and tax evasion, basically. And they get into a childish fight at the dealership, and instead of, I don't know, calling the police on him, or, I don't know, getting a lawyer or something, they decide to sell things on this little snow fair they go to, where they do stuff like try a, not those balls with those baseball things, but Broderick actually misses and hits a woman down, or try to go on those little slides, the little sacks, which they somehow get led on even though they're grown men. And eventually they're wise, sick of them arguing. I'm like, I don't blame them sick of them arguing. Try to force them to get along, and that backfires. How? This little stage show these broads come on called the Santa Lays, and the two decide to start sexual harassing comments saying, how are just you girls? Hey, who's your daddy? Get to the punchline is, their daughters are on stage. Are you telling me the daughters didn't tell their dads that hey, we're going to be doing this at the snow fair, and they didn't realize until after they sexually harassed their daughters? They're telling me, and the two are both horrified that they did this. They go to a local church to wipe their eyes out in holy water. Great! needed. Incest joke. That's what I needed in a family film. So they then do this race, and of course Roderick loses, and DeVito wins by tripping. He's also wearing an orange suit to make him look like an idiot. And then he starts taunting DeVito, and everyone's just like, even though the guy's kind of a jerk to him and framed him, and yes, I know, although Brody can bring himself for being an idiot by avoiding the sheriff because he's a crossdresser. And by the way, DeVito eventually does get his out and makes an ass out of himself. How? As he wants to buy more lights, but of course he's jack out of money because he recently got fired. So guess what he does? He pawns his wife's face in. His wife finds out he lost a job and basically leaves him and takes the girls with him. Can't say I blame her. And after that Broderick's basically fed up with him because this scene was in bed, and then the lights from the house, the video is now rigged with giant LED screens on his house playing high-pitched songs like Here Comes Santa Claus, or Santa Claus Coming to Town, or whatever, and he set the place at 4 in the freaking morning, and apparently Broderick don't want to bother with this. And in the movie, trying to portray as he's just a fussy, fussy guy. He's they try to treat him like he's Scrooge or the Grinch. And when he says it's going to play at 4 in the morning, the entire neighborhood cheers. I'm like, in the real world, no neighborhood no suburb in any continent, state, universe, multiverse, megaverse, or microverse would ever cheer, or omniverse, would ever cheer for a guy playing loud Christmas music till 4 in the morning. No one would, because it's annoying as hell. So, brother gets another call police, so he buys illegal fireworks, and he launches it into DeVito's house, but he has up, one of them falls down his chimney, ricochets around the house, and burns the stolen tree down. The fire department puts it out, but the police, despite finding they stole it, don't arrest him for some reason. I don't know why. Oh yeah, and his wife and kids leave him. And as we get the stereotypical ending, the two realize they messed up, and guess what? DeVito wasn't even in the house to shoot the fireworks at. He was at his wife's hotel room trying to throw rocks at the windows to get her attention or something. And it wasn't interesting. So at the end, they decide to make up. They get their wives and kids back by taking down the lights. Well, then they put the lights back up at the end, and he gets his wish, just because. And everything ends up well for everyone, except for the audience. Yeah, the thing is, the movie doesn't seem to know whose side we should root for. Should we root for DeVito or Broderick? Because they both kind of do either stupid things, or mean things, or dumb things. And it just makes us feel bad for these guys' wives and kids, and to put up with these idiots. Broderick isn't being. It seems to have some superiority complex. He wants to be the biggest name in the neighborhood, this guy, and DeVito has a stupid dream to achieve, and they're both going through retarded stakes to achieve it. Anyway, it's a crap movie, crap writing, crap everything. I don't know there's much to say. It's just a bad movie. Anyway, I gotta go now. Take care, guys.